What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? Welcome back. Saturday night. The weekend is here, the eve of Detroit Lions football. This is your go to channel for Detroit Lions content. We talk about everything here. We talk about game day shows, post game shows, trade rumors, free agent rumors, draft talk, draft analysis, film breakdown. This is where you want to be. If you're new, welcome. If you've been watching for a while, also welcome. Official game day show. This is the official game day hoodie for the Detroit Lions game day show. Someone pointed out to me that I am 4-0 when wearing this hoodie. So I'm going to keep the good energy going, the superstitions. I understand the Lions are on a 5-game winning streak, but I'm going to keep rocking this hoodie on game day shows as long as we keep winning. Until then, this is what you're going to be seeing. Okay. This is a very, very, very important big game of the week. Sunday afternoon, 4:30, Tom Brady on the call. If Tom Brady's there to go, you know it's a big game, okay? First, let me get out by saying injuries, man. Let's look at some of these injuries. Let me bring it in here for the Lions and the Packers. You see it right there. Broderick Martin, really not surprised about that. Just coming back to practice. I didn't expect him to play. I know I did an episode about that. Josh Pascal's probably the big hit for the Lions this week, as well as Mekhi Wingo. Sione Vaki on special teams. Rodrigo was playing some good football. I'll bring this back in a second. I'm just going to say, if you're a Detroit Lions fan and you're at Lambeau Field and you can acquire some shoulder pads and a jersey, we might need you to get on the field and rush after the passer because we're literally just throwing bodies out there right now. Okay. I don't want to go fully into a trade episode, but I do think that this is the final evaluation for Brad Holmes to get a look at this team post Aiden Hutchinson's injury, okay? And I know a lot of people are calling for demanding a trade. Let's not lose sight that this team is still 2.5 wins undefeated since Aiden Hutchinson got hurt in that third quarter of the Dallas Cowboys game. That was in the second half. We won that game. We won Minnesota. We won last week against the Titans. So 2.5 wins, I'll call it. Let's not rush, okay? And I get it. I'm even on record getting a little impatient, so I have to take some stuff back. I trust Brad Holmes, okay? This is the final chance he's going to get to look at this Detroit Lions team. And honestly, I don't know who he's going to be watching if he's watching the defensive line because, like I said, if you can manage to get on the field and you can generate a pass rush, you'll probably leave Green Bay with a contract, okay? So run out onto the field, show some speed, show your rip moves, your swim moves, so show all that. There's going to be someone watching. We got to get some people to get after this passer, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the Green Bay Packers injury report. Big one for them, in my opinion, is probably safety Evan Williams. He's one of their good safeties. I still think they have a very good secondary with Jair Alexander and I'm drawing a blank. The guy who was talking shit about the Lions, it'll come to me. Josh Jacobs, questionable. I expect him to play. Jordan Love, questionable. He's going to play. I think the big two are probably Evan Williams, their safety, and Josh Myers, their offensive lineman. Xavier McKinney, that's it. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I knew it would come to me. They still got a good secondary, even with Williams being a little banged up. Let's talk about Xavier McKinney, okay? He's made some comments about the Detroit Lions running up the score and embarrassing other teams. I don't think we embarrassed the Tennessee Titans as much as they embarrassed themselves. They outgained us in every stat known to man except for special teams, okay? I don't think that that's an embarrassing way that the Detroit Lions handled it. We didn't have to really drive the length of the field because we were getting such great field position. So if that's embarrassing, I think it's embarrassing that the Tennessee Titans have kept their special teams coordinator after that game. So what are we talking about here? All right, we're talking about blowing out the Titans. They're the worst team in football. They're setting themselves up for the number 1 pick, a top 5 draft pick, whatever you want to think that they're doing. I've talked about that. They've sold off some pieces. We're looking at some of their guys themselves. I know Arden Key's been mentioned, Harold Landry. They trade D-Hop. That wasn't an embarrassing win for the Lions the way we blew them out. Go look at the stat book. We didn't have to do a whole lot. Jared Goff didn't even have to throw for 100 yards, okay? So what are we talking about when it comes to embarrassing? Do you want to talk about the Cowboys team? The Cowboys game that we absolutely blitzed them out of the water? The only people who should be upset about that are Dallas Cowboys fans, okay? Nobody likes the Cowboys. The Cowboys are like the Yankees of Major League Baseball. You're either a diehard or you hate them. There's no in between, okay? And trust me, I lived in Texas. It's a miserable sports state to live in. all you hear 24/7 is "we dem boys" and "hook 'em horns." That's all you hear when you live in Texas. It gets old. So running the score up on Dallas, don't mind that one bit. It happens. And if we're going to talk about embarrassing, the Lions are still pretty new to winning. Okay. We've been through everything there is to be through as Lions fans. 0-16, draft bust, finding a new way to lose. I don't care if we blow the doors off of another team. It's the nature of the business. If you don't like it, play better. Okay. And I'm not to say that, there will never be a time again where the Lions don't get a ass whooping handed to them. It just happens sometimes. So Xavier McKinney, he probably gave Dan Campbell and the boys some bulletin board material this week. So if we get a chance, I don't think we will. I'll get into my predictions at the end of the game. But if this game turns into a one-sided ass whooping, it just is what it is. Okay. Let's look at some team stats. I like to dissect some of this stuff a little bit. As you can see, offensively with Green Bay and Detroit, both teams are phenomenal offensively. Okay. Where I see the Lions having a advantage offensively is if you see the red zone and the third down efficiency, we're a much better team than the Green Bay Packers. If you want to look at some of that stuff, if you buy into it, I don't read too much into it, but I do find it kind of interesting to just kind of look at some of the stuff. Defensively, we're pretty evenly matched. What I really think is going to be the difference, and I don't want to tip my hat too much on my predictions for the end of the show. If you look at the bottom there, takeaways. These are the top two teams in the NFL when it comes to takeaways, 1 and 2. The Cowboys, or not the Cowboys. The Packers are number 1. What they have? 19 turnovers they forced on defense, and the Lions have done 15 that second. So there's a 4 takeaway difference there. So we're first and second. It's that's going to be the nature of this game. All right, all week, all I've been hearing is about this weather, shitty weather, windy, rainy. Takeaways. Jared Goff, protect the football. He's done a very, very good job of that. I expect that to continue. Okay. If we don't turn the ball over, I think I saw a stat on Twitter. I'm not sure if it's 100% true. I guess I should have taken a screenshot or a better mental note, but the Lions are plus 10 in the turnover battle. So that's right where we want to be. We want to be winning that battle. We want to be ahead of the chain, so to speak, in that area. Turning the ball over less than we're creating turnovers. If you're giving Jared Goff in this offense extra possessions, you're not going to beat us. You're just not going to beat us. That's another thing from the Titans game. Not only was special teams a factor, we forced 4 turnovers in that game. So if we're going to keep talking embarrassing, capitalizing on another team's mistakes, that's what it's going to take against the Green Bay Packers. No turnovers, or at least winning the turnover battle. Okay. And when we're struggling to rush the passer, we're really kind of counting on our turnovers to come either from maybe a muffed punt on special teams or Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph to just keep doing their thing. I'm still waiting on that first Terrion Arnold interception. I'm still waiting on it. I think it's going to be at a big moment. Could it be this week? Game of the week, 4:30 p.m. Could this be the game that Terrion Arnold maybe gets his? I called a pick 6 a couple weeks ago. Didn't quite happen. I'm still waiting. I think Terrion Arnold is going to make a huge play in a huge moment. Maybe it's this week. We'll see. There's a matchup that I'm very, very interested in. Taylor Decker, it's my guy, man. He's a Buckeye. It's okay. He plays for the Detroit Lions now. He's our guy. I've noticed him kind of, I don't know what word to use here. I don't want to use the word struggle, because struggle to me means that it's been an ongoing thing for a long period of time. But maybe some mishaps or some slip-ups in some pass protection where he's given up some sacks. And what popped this into my mind was, I don't want to take you guys to a dark place, but that Green Bay game Thanksgiving last year, Rashawn Gary ate Taylor Decker's lunch, okay? Forced 3 Jared Goff turnovers. I think he had a pick 6. I think he fumbled the ball a couple times. Taylor Decker did not have a good game last year against the Packers on Thanksgiving. Rashawn Gary's not putting up the kind of numbers he was last year, so I'm looking for Taylor to get a little revenge, okay? He's given up some sacks the last couple weeks. Arden Key kind of blew him off the ball a couple times last week. I noticed as well the very first play of the game wasn't a great look. I want to see Taylor Decker. He's the left tackle of the best NFL offensive line, okay? And as much as I love Penei Sewell, and hands down my number 1 favorite player on this team, your left tackle is your blind side. That's got to be the most important piece. So we really need Taylor Decker to step up in this game, okay? We got to be better in pass protection. We don't have a mobile quarterback. We have a guy who's an absolute assassin when he's in the pocket, clean and protected. And we got plenty of playmakers. I know the Packers got playmakers. I'll come down to some factors here in a second when what I think it's going to take to win this game. But when it comes to the weather and the stigma with Jared Goff and playing outdoors, shitty weather, rain, I don't know if I mean, I don't know the stats. I don't know his win-loss record. I don't know his yards per game when he plays outdoors. All right, I'm not a walking stat machine. I'm not that big of a nerd. But if you have that information, drop it below. I'd like to read it. I find it interesting. I just don't have it on hand or even where to find it. That stigma, I think most of that goes back to maybe his Rams days. All right, this is a new Lions team. It's a new Jared Goff. Okay, I'm not buying into him not being an outdoor guy or playing outside in shitty weather. We have fun little pieces to play with on offense. If we can get the ball to them, Sam Laporta, Amon St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Khalif Raymond, I think could have a big game. We have some good weapons, and the Packers do too. I know they got a very solid running game. They got Josh Jacobs, who's having a hell of a season. It's going to be an interesting matchup with playmakers. I think this game is really going to be important in the trenches. We're strong on the offensive line. They're not as strong as an offensive line. They're a little stronger on defensive line. Our defensive line's going through hell right now. So it's going to be a battle of which side of the trenches really, really dominates. We're really going to need our offensive line in this one, especially if it's wet, rainy, windy. If we can just turn around, hand the ball off to our two running backs, this game won't even be a problem. But on defense, I struggle to have faith in this defensive line getting after Jordan Love, who's banged up. And hats off to Jordan Love real quick. I forgot to really mention him in the injury section of the show. We watch football to be entertained, okay? And we want our teams to win. But even if you're just a fan of, let's say, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're tuning into this game, what do you want to see? You want to see a good football game, right? You want to see I don't know how to really word this. You want to see a good competitive matchup. So I think if Jordan Love is healthy enough and he gives the Packers the best chance to win, that's what I want, because I'm going to take more pride in beating the Packers, who I absolutely hate. The only Packers fan I like is my mother-in-law because she bakes me cookies. So if she's watching this, little kudos for that. Or I'll take a dozen chocolate chips. But we watch football to be entertained. So I don't want to see that whole, I don't want Jordan Love to play because I want an easy win. I want a win more than anything, but I also respect football for its great traditions of competitiveness. Okay. And I get it. If you're on the other side of the fence and you say, hey, a win either way, it doesn't matter to me who plays quarterback. I get that. I'm just a little bit more in depth with how I want to win. It just means a little bit more. Like I say this all the time. I want to beat the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs. It means a little bit more if Patrick Mahomes is playing. You know what I mean? So the weather, Jordan Love, I think if Jordan Love's uncomfortable with that interior offensive line, I think that's their center that's out this week. Our interior defensive line is set. It's the guys around them that are kind of question marks. So if Aleem McNeil, man, you got to step up this week. You are my defensive player of the game. I picked you last week. You didn't do a whole lot sack-wise, obviously, but with how our defensive ends and our outside linebackers and our inability to get a pass rush, I got to have Aleem McNeil step up in this game, okay? Jordan Love's banged up. He's not going to be as mobile as he usually is. He can still move. We'll see if he even plays. Game time decision, but expected to play. I need to see Aleem McNeil step up in this game. I do, man. These last 2 weeks watching this defensive front try to get after a quarterback has been brutal to watch without Aiden Hutchinson. Aleem McNeil just got that new contract. Time to step up. Let's put some pressure on not Jared Goff. Let's put some pressure on Jordan Love instead, and make his life a living hell, because they got some great receivers on the outside. They got a lot of different guys: Reed, Watson, Musgrave, their tight end. They got some guys they can get the ball to too. Let's not try to pretend like we're the dominant team here on the roster, but I do think our roster is better. I think if we're making Jordan Love's life a living hell, we're going to be just fine. Offensive player of the game. When I think of Lambeau Field, wet, rainy, windy, grass stains, this has got a David Montgomery game written all over it. Okay. I think David Montgomery is going to get the ball 20 times. I think he's going to get 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay. I think that's what it's going to take to win this ugly, sloppy game. Final score prediction. I think the Lions win this one 21-17. I do think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. This is a battle for the NFC North, the best division in football. Lambeau Field, two great offenses, two good defenses. I hate Matt LaFleur. I want to pound him into the dirt. I think Dan Campbell's going to do a better job coaching. I think we are the better roster altogether, guys. Leave your players of the game down below. Leave your score predictions. And again, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, this is where you want to be. Stick around, leave some comments, guys. I'll be back later with another show. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your Saturday.